Israel Adesanya is definitely an elite level fighter, but I don't ever want to hear anyone say he's better than a prime Anderson Silva or Jon Jones ever again. He now has a record of 4-3 in the past 3 years. He's the first man in history to have lost the UFC championship twice in a year. 4 years ago, Izzy said that he was going to beat Jon Jones by the year 2021. He's lucky that matchup never happened because Jon would have literally murdered him. After his last fight, people were saying he's the greatest middleweight of all time. I think it's crazy how carried away people get. Although I'm gonna criticize Izzy in this video, I have to quickly say, all these posts about Nurmagomedov having a better legacy than Izzy are absurd. His record doesn't even come close to any of the greats in the UFC. Izzy could have retired when he did and been 20-0, but he actually stuck around and challenged himself, unlike Nurmagomedov. But getting back to it, it seems like somewhere along the way, Izzy became too much of a counter-striker and stopped dictating fights. He has no sense of urgency. He's not able to pour it on when he really needs to. I've always felt that he was a little overrated as a striker. He's too hesitant. The feints are effective but look so robotic. It looks like he's running out of ideas at times. I honestly feel if Izzy had been coming up in the division back when Chris Weidman, Jacare, and Luke Rockhold were absolute killers, he would have really struggled. They would have given him serious problems, unlike Paulo Costa and Marvin Vettori, who we'd never really consider elite level fighters. When it comes to Anderson comparisons, Anderson was a way better boxer, had way better clinch work, was a way better grappler, and during his run was simply levels ahead of both the middleweights and even light heavyweights outside of Jon. What Silva did is only rivaled by GSP and Jon Jones. Another way of putting it, Izzy fought Silva. Izzy was in his prime, and Silva was at the tail end of his career, and Izzy barely won. Pereira was on the back foot the entire time he fought Strickland. The difference is Pereira actually has cage awareness, and always circled away from backing against the cage, while also being sneaky with leg kicks. Izzy just waits for you to close the distance, which is why he has so many boring fights. This time it played into his downfall. He's a great counter-striker, but he seems very limited when it comes to adapting outside of his strengths. A lot of people can't find his chin, but when they do it really shows that he can't take much. It's the high pressure, high risk coupled with straight 1-2s that Izzy can't handle. We saw it with Gastelum, Pereira and again with Sean. While Izzy was expected to walk through Strickland, he ended up getting completely outclassed. Izzy underestimated Sean massively, as did a lot of fans and pundits. In the last round, when he was not only losing the fight but also getting taunted, he still continued to back up. That's the difference between being an elite level fighter and one of the GOATs. That's not how a champion should move. Just look at Jon when he was caught in that armbar by Belfort. All Sean really needed to beat Izzy was the stance. Sean's cardio is underrated. He looked like he could have gone 5 more rounds. He is so good defensively, but at the same time he's able to pour on so much pressure, it's phenomenal. We all thought Yoel would be the one to walk Izzy down, but turns out Sean was that dude. Izzy just couldn't control the distance. He always fights in a similar way. It was only a matter of time until he came up against a real pressure fighter that wasn't going to give him space to dance around and counter. Dana is already making excuses for Izzy at the press conference, which is pathetic. I've never seen Dana look that pissed after a championship fight. Nobody deserves an immediate rematch when they get dominated for the whole fight, and no one wants to see Adesanya being the only one involved in middleweight title fights. It would be an insult to the sport to give him another immediate rematch right now. The fact that Dana doesn't really like Sean is strange to me because he is arguably more marketable based on how much the fans love him, so why disrespect his accomplishment like that in the presser? Give the man his credit. Let me know what you think of Izzy's legacy below, and where he ranks amongst the greats. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.